Hello, welcome to week 3 of SQL for Data Analytics course. I would like to talk about the first module of this course, which is creating a relational database. When you open this module, you find just few write up that talks about the learning objectives for this module, and there's a PDF file which is attached. You can actually download this file or open it up and follow through the steps in the file to complete the task. So in this file, I talked about table relationships and how to create a relational database. And we also mentioned some SQL data types and then working with different data types in SQL. Okay, so these two learning objectives, table relationships and creating a relational database, are covered in this PDF file, while SQL data types and working with different data types in SQL are covered in the other modules from 2 up to 5, module 2 to 5. Okay, so let's begin with this. You can see this short instruction or write up says, please review the attached material which contains all the necessary information. Make sure to complete each step highlighted, uh, uh, highlighted task diligently. Okay, so let's head over to the material. It's been opened already in another window. So let's get to the material, which is this. In this material, I explained how to download and install my SQL Workbench. Although I expect that everyone on the course has already done that, but my focus here is to show you or teach you how to create relational database management system. Okay, so um, let's move on to the next. So as you can see, there are about 5 different tasks that you are meant to actually execute. The first is to install my SQL Workbench. This is a tip of I suppose I assume that everyone has done this. Then the next is to connect to my SQL server. You can also connect to my SQL server. Next is overview, my SQL Workbench overview. So although we've done little of overview in previous lectures, but let's just run through this overview. So I'll skip all the steps that involves installing my SQL Workbench and connecting to my SQL server because I assume that you've done that. But if you haven't, when you get into the classroom, you can download this material and follow the steps to get it installed. So these are the steps, the website you have to visit to download the installer and all the necessary steps involved. All right. So here are the steps involved in downloading and installing my SQL Workbench. The next is connecting to my SQL server. If you want to connect to my SQL server, of course, um, this is the step involved. Just click on the local instance and type in your password which you created during installation. Next, we want to quickly have an overview of my SQL Workbench, even though I've given a brief overview in previous lectures. So my SQL Workbench, after successfully connecting to the server, has this interface, this look. All right, when you open it from the home page, the screen looks like this. The first part we want to talk about this section is called the administration tab. This administration tab is where you perform all administration or your administration tasks like connecting to a server or looking at the server status, clients connections, users, and all of those, and checking the health of the database. You can monitor the health of the database you're connected to from this administration tab. All right, so everything that has to do with administration uh, tax is being managed from this administration tab. The second section is called the SQL query pane. So this this SQL query pane allows you to write and execute SQL queries. All right, so whatever query you want to write will be done in the second tab here, and we have the schema tab. So once you click on the schema tab, it displays all the existing databases and schemas that you can query from. And when you click on the schemas tab, then we have the fourth part, which is called the layer buttons. The layer buttons allows you to toggle my SQL Workbench layout. So the current layout we have is the middle one, the one that shows the outputs at the base. So you can show the outputs at the right or the left. So you can toggle between the various existing layers or layout, I mean to say. Then the fifth part of this open window is called the active object view. So this is where you view all schema that are active, all right, or the databases that are active viewed here in the fifth part, the fifth section. Now this sixth part is the active MySQL server connection. So wherever server you're connected to will be shown in this tab. So right now the connected server is local instance MySQL 80. If you connect to, let's say, a server, I mean an online server or online database or any other database, you see another tab opened and it shows you the active server that's connected. And then we have the seventh window, the seventh tab, which is called the addition spin. This is addition spin. It contains SQL statements or snippets. So any statement or snippet you run will be displayed here in this addition spin. Then we have this output pane. So the output pane is where the output of your query will be displayed. So whenever you run your query, you have the output pane. You have the output be displayed right here in this eighth section or part of the window. All right, so these are the important parts of my SQL Workbench that you need to get familiar with. Once you open my Workbench, you should be able to navigate through each part of this active window. Okay, so we've learned how to create database from here. This ninth part, which is called the ribbon, you can create database. You can open new tab for querying, new querying tab. You can create new table and all of those. So all of those tasks are being performed from this ribbon. Okay. So now that we've learned how to navigate through the SQL workbench, let's get right in and start discussing. Or before we get into the workbench, let's quickly talk about table relationships. Very important. Let's mention the different relationships that exist in the table. Okay, and I think I'd love to do that in a separate video, so that we don't have a very lengthy video. I'll stop this video right here and then have a second video where we'll discuss table relationships. All right, thank you for watching this. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.